Welcome to our channel. Have you ever noticed that the truly life-changing moments almost never happen in some dramatic, cinematic explosion? It is not usually because you made some earth-shattering decision or suddenly had a epiphany that flipped your world upside down in a single night. More often than not, your life is actually being pushed in different directions by those tiny, seemingly insignificant daily choices. It is about how you spend your time, where you point your attention, what you decide to keep, and what you choose to let go of. Over time, these small gaps in behavior turn into a massive chasm between the person you are and the person you want to be. If you are not the type to believe in those overnight success stories and instead care about making your life a little more stable and comfortable year after year, then you are in the right place. Today we are diving into 7 minimalist habits that are perfect for starting in 2026. These are not about radical life overhauls or screaming into the void. They are about moving your life onto a different track through quiet, consistent action. The first habit might sound a bit counterintuitive at first because it is called selective ignorance. Now, let me be clear, this is not a philosophy about being cold to the world or hiding in a bunker with your tinfoil hat. It is simply about becoming the conscious manager of the information that enters your brain. We live in an age where we can know everything, but the reality is that no human being has the capacity to master every piece of data floating around. Even more realistically, there is a mountain of information out there that, if you never knew it, would have zero impact on your actual life. It will not improve your quality of life, and it will not help you make better decisions. If you spend every day soaking up this noise, you are just making your brain exhausted for no reason. You might see people who deliberately skip the news, ignore celebrity gossip, or even stop checking the weather every 5 minutes, and yet their lives do not fall apart. If it rains, they put on a coat, and if it's cold, they add a layer. They just keep living. The point is not that you have to be that extreme, but you must understand that your attention is a strictly limited resource. When you try to see and receive everything, you end up keeping nothing at all. If you choose to filter your intake and only let in what is truly helpful or positive, you can actively block out the noise that only creates anxiety and emotional swings without changing your actions. This change starts small, but it makes your life much quieter and clearer in the long run. Once you have cleaned up your attention, the second habit becomes incredibly important: shrinking your focus. Everyone loves to set a massive pile of goals when a new year starts, but the percentage of people who actually finish them is embarrassingly low. Usually, the problem is not a lack of effort, but rather that the goals are too scattered and too many. Everything looks important, so everything stays as just words coming out of your mouth. A more practical way to actually get things done is to shorten your time frame and tighten your focus. Think of your year as 4 distinct stages, and for every 3-month block, you only focus on pushing one truly important thing forward. Whether it is starting a business, learning a new skill, or building a habit, you only need to ask yourself one question: what is the single thing most worth my full investment right now? Everything else you want to do can wait for the next quarter. This rhythm makes it much easier to actually make progress in a specific direction. When your attention is concentrated, the results finally start to pile up, and you will find that your life starts to have a real sense of direction. Now, let's talk about the third habit, which is something we deal with every single day but rarely think through: precise eating. Many people find themselves in a contradictory spot where they spend a lot of money on food every day, yet their bodies never seem to have more energy. They feel tired and their brains feel foggy. Usually, the issue is that the diet is just too complicated. Food is supposed to be a stable energy source that keeps your mind clear and your physical state steady, not something that makes you want to take a nap the moment you finish a meal. The key is to pull your focus back to one simple concept: being precise. This means choosing foods where you can still see the original form, like meat that hasn't been overprocessed, seasonal vegetables, and fruits. These foods that exist naturally are the easiest for your body to process. This does not mean you can never touch processed food again, but it means you start using a different standard for judgment. How does your body feel after eating it? Do you get hungry again immediately? Does your energy last, or do you crash? When you use this standard, a lot of tempting but useless things will naturally be filtered out. You will find that when you eat real ingredients, you feel full for longer, and the burden on your body is smaller. This is a classic case of less but better. Your options decrease, but the quality of every choice increases. Every bite you take starts to actually give something back to your body. People worry this will be expensive, but when you stop filling up on snacks and packaged goods, the total cost is usually the same, or even cheaper. When your body gets the right nutrition, your sleep, energy, and overall feeling are pulled to a whole different level. Eating stops being just about filling a hole and becomes the foundation of your quality of life. The fourth habit is one that gives many people immediate stress: fitness. Usually, when we talk about exercise, people imagine high-intensity, hardcore training, where if you are not exhausted and pushing to the absolute limit, it does not count. But the reality is that most people get stuck because they design a system that is too complex and impossible to maintain long-term. For most of us, the most stable and lasting progress comes from a rhythm that is not dramatic at all. 2 to 3 times a week for about 45 minutes is actually the sweet spot. This frequency makes it much easier to balance results, recovery, and the general comfort of your life. The content of the training does not need to be fancy either. You just need to record every session and focus on 3 or 4 core movements. As long as you slowly increase the weight or the number of repetitions within your capability, it is more than enough. The truly important thing is whether you can keep doing it. If your current plan is too extreme or you keep quitting every few weeks, you should take a step back and find a way you can sustain for years. It doesn't have to be the fastest way or the theoretically perfect way. If you are consistent, time will magnify the results for you. 5 years from now, your physique and spirit will be completely different, and these changes won't have come at the expense of your quality of life. This is the kind of fitness most people actually need. It doesn't take over your life, but it quietly lifts your physical and mental state over time. The fifth habit is about money, but it is not just about saving. It is about your power to choose. Most people have an emergency fund for 3 to 6 months to handle surprises, but there is something even more critical beyond that, which we can call a freedom reserve. Think of this as another 6 months of living expenses on top of your basic safety net. The purpose of this money is to give you choices at key moments in your life. When you have this money, your mindset changes completely. You can afford a temporary drop in income, you are braver about switching career paths, and you can invest in new plans or accept opportunities that pay less now but have huge long-term potential. If you are just breaking even every month, your life might look stable, but your room for choice is tiny. Many life-changing opportunities, like joining a startup or moving to a new city, get blocked simply because your risk tolerance is too low. Once you move past the state of just living paycheck to paycheck and have that freedom reserve, you are already in a much better position than most people. This money is the buffer that absorbs risk and gives you the space to gain experience, make mistakes, and adjust your direction toward more possibilities instead of being stuck on the only path right in front of you. The sixth habit is something I recommend trying at least once a year because the impact is often way beyond what you can expect. A low consumption month. You can pick any month that works for you, and for those 30 days, you stop all spending that isn't for basic survival like food or rent. You don't buy clothes, you don't buy shoes, you don't add gadgets, and you don't plan trips. This is a deliberate attempt to slow down and see what you actually need. When you stop using consumption to respond to your emotions or impulses for a full month, you start to see clearly what matters and what was just a passing desire. Most people discover that the things they thought they absolutely had to buy actually add almost nothing to their quality of life. The real power of a low consumption month is that it shakes up those spending patterns you are so used to that you don't even notice them anymore. It stops that cycle where you order something because you are annoyed, it arrives at your house, and you have already forgotten why you wanted it. It pulls your consumption back to a conscious state, so you take back the power of choice instead of being led by habit. Pick a month and try it. Feel the clarity and peace that comes from this intentional white space in your life. Real change comes when you are willing to stop rushing to respond to every impulse. The final habit is simple but has a profound impact. Actively leaving a space for creation in your life. It doesn't matter what you do, making videos, painting, writing, woodworking, or any craft you are willing to finish with your own hands. The point is, whether you have a stable outlet where your attention moves from passive receiving and passive consumption to active production. When the ideas in your head are turned into a concrete work, whether physical or digital, your feeling about life changes. If it brings in income, that is great, but that is just a side benefit. The real value is the focus and the satisfaction of knowing you are making something. In practice, you don't have to think big. It could be finishing one small work a week or producing something once a month. This rhythm pulls you out of a state where you're just being dragged along by outside stimulation and moves you toward output and accumulation. For many, this creates a state of pure, high-energy flow. When creation becomes a habit, life is no longer just about responding to the demands of the outside world. It starts from you and expands outward. These 7 habits are not complex, and they won't flip your life overnight. But if you actually start doing them, your life will get clearer year after year. If this has been helpful, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Feel free to share in the comments which habit you want to try first. We will see you in the next one.